Major Mohammed Ali Shah, also quickly drawing you in here on your take on how day one of the new UK Prime Minister, on whom a lot of hopes are resting, has panned out.
Absolutely, Uday. The first thing that Mr. Rishi Sunak did while coming into power was he reshuffled the cabinet slightly. Now, there were a lot of rumors, not rumors, I would say there was a lot of news actually coming in that he sacked 27 ministers from the cabinet. But then we have to see he retained a large number of ministers as well. For example, he went out hunting. Okay, but he got Jeremy Hunt to remain as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, where Mr. Rishi Sunak himself was the Chancellor of Exchequer. Then Mr. Hunt assumed the role early this month when Ms. Truss had claimed the market turmoil had caused by her sweeping tax plan. Now that had caused a turmoil, and as Ambassador Goyal said, also because there are a lot of things she did not foresee earlier. She had a plan before she came to power, all right. Then he quickly reversed virtually all that Liz had done. Now, most of it. Now, Mr. Sunak decided to keep very cleverly, he kept James Cleverly, who supported Boris Johnson in the election that time, as the Foreign Secretary's post, also without building a wall, though he thought there would be a wall. But Ben Wallace, who he built as a high profile as the Defense Secretary. So Ben Wallace and James Cleverly remained in their position, who incidentally had supported Boris Johnson. Now, Mr. Sunak also reappointed Suella Braverman, very bravely, I would say, because who had resigned as the Home Secretary only last week, just a few days back. Now, because there was a breach of security rules by her, apparently. Now, when there has been a breach of trust by Liz Truss' resignation, I think Mr. Rishi Sunak is going to be doing a brilliant job, and he is going to get things back in order. It would not happen overnight, but it would take time. But yes, most certainly, I think the UK has got the most promising Prime Minister, and I'm not saying this because I'm being biased or he has Indian origins. That has nothing to do with it at all, zero. But had it been any other Prime Minister showing so much of promise, I would have said the same thing, Uday, and I am certain that the economy of Britain and the people are going to be back on track. And then he made a first phone call, which I'm sure you would be covering subsequently, to President Zelensky regarding lending support to Ukraine, in fact. So yes, Rishi Sunak is, I think, a very good leader who, the very fact that people are saying, okay, he's a multi-billionaire and such things, and he and his wife, they own so much and they are, so what? So what? And one last thing I like to conclude by saying, a lot of people are saying that, we Indians are celebrating a bit too much of Rishi Sunak's victory. I would say, why not? Why shouldn't we celebrate? There have been a few exchange of notes with some people on WhatsApp. I said, why not? Why should we not celebrate? Do we not celebrate a victory of a family member who gets promoted and becomes a CEO of a company? That does not mean that that CEO is going to give us a job in this company or will lend us some money. No. But we are feeling happy because we feel he is one of us. Ye hamara apna hai. So it is something which we all should feel proud about. We all should rejoice. And I know people who were in fact rejoicing when Joe Biden came into power and Donald Trump went off. When we could do that, when we had Barack Obama as the first non-white president of US, when Kamala Harris also took over as the vice president of US. And so things are changing in the West. Things are totally changing, and why not? And Rishi Sunak, literally, I would say, literally, I'm talking about in literal sense, he wears his religion on his sleeves. You can see the red thread on his on his wrist. So yes, I think it is a proud moment for the entire country, for Britishers. No one is saying that he's going to be merging Britain with India. I mean, it is a reason to celebrate, and why should we not? So yes, I think it is a great move, and he has a whole lot of support in the UK, and he will do a great job over there. I'm very certain of that.
All right. Major Mohammed Ali Shah, now the fact that Suella has come back into the cabinet, how do you interpret this decision? Also, will it further sully the UK-India free trade agreement that was due to be inked by Diwali but still hasn't?
Oh, well, Uday, I honestly don't think it would affect that at all because, yes, the very fact that Suella Braverman, that's why I said very bravely he appointed her, who had just resigned some time back. Now, the very fact that, yes, she was very, very controversial, and but at the same time, Rishi Sunak has liberty of appointing who and what he deems fit for which job, wherever, however, and he's at liberty, he's perfectly fine. But now, with her early remarks, I do not really welcome it. I do not support that at all. And I don't think it will really affect the free trade agreement. That can be an excuse that, oh, because this it says the free trade agreement, which was to be inked by Diwali, by now, which hasn't been inked. I think had some other Prime Minister also come, not Rishi Sunak, then it could have been on the same pace. It would not really make much of a difference. I'll give you a small example for everyone to understand Uday. Now, Rishi Sunak, when people are saying, okay, Indian origin, so no one is, and people are celebrating, and why not? We must celebrate. People are, in fact, accusing me also that why you, what's the big deal? I mean, why are you celebrating? I said, no, why? Because why shouldn't we celebrate? Firstly, we need a reason to celebrate, and secondly, tables have turned around. In 1947, Winston Churchill, he had said from 10 Downing Street, he had said that, Indians will produce substandard leaders. They would be not, they will made of straw. So now, 75 years later, after independence, we have an Indian origin Prime Minister sitting at the helm of affairs in Britain. So it is a reason to celebrate. Secondly, why should we not? Why should we not? And now, emotionally and sentimentally and psychologically, I think it does affect us as Indians as well. Because it's something like, an example I'll give you. Oh, if there's somebody sitting in the parliament and he's from your hometown, though regionalism is not encouraged, it should not be encouraged, that's a different thing. But it's human psychology. It comes in. So you say, oh, any work you got at so-and-so place, I have my person from my hometown sitting over there. It's like, in Hindi, if I put in simple language, colloquial language, oh, वो तो मेरे ताऊ का लड़का है, आपको जो भी काम होगा बता देना, हम करवा देंगे. अब ताऊ का लड़का कौन है? आपको खुद नहीं मालूम ताऊ कौन है. आपको ये भी नहीं मालूम ताऊ का लड़का कौन है. But still, the psychological and emotional factor is very much welcome. And I think it would not really affect the free trade agreement with India. It would go, had he not come, it would have gone on the same pace. And it would take its own course. But as destiny had Rishi Sunak coming back in its place, so no one can actually challenge destiny provided you work for it. So Rishi Sunak had worked for it and he was destined to be the Prime Minister. Similarly, the free trade agreement between India and UK would be inked. Definitely it would be inked. It would take time, but it will definitely happen. It's destined to happen.
All right. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.